Hi everyone, it's Jean from the Inky Studio. Welcome to part one of a series that I'm going to be doing on how to assemble this little file folder folio using nothing but a Stamperia forest pad and some cardstock. So I didn't want to use any digitals, and I wanted to use things that I felt most crafting people would have laying around. And so, yeah, please subscribe and hit the bell so you know when the next part will be coming up. So this is the little file folder we'll be making, and there's a pocket here on front, and it opens up to the inside, and there's another pocket which is actually kind of hidden looking because it looks like it blends in with the rest of it. And this little flap opens up. Well, I will get that in a minute. There we go. And there are two pockets over here. Now I have not completed decorating this, but this is going to be the structure. And here we have a waterfall, which I thought really highlighted the animals that are inside this pad. So I wanted to give every animal his day in the sun. So this is the waterfall, and then here's the eagle, and here's the hidden pocket that we're going to be making to put another tag inside there. Then over here on this side is a flip out with a pocket there and a pocket inside, and it flips out this way with another pocket and another pocket. And then I used this lovely fox and cut out and made a shape pocket to go inside there. So this is the little folio we will be working on and making on. There's a lot of ideas in here that you may want to use in other projects. This is one type of a closure, but I'll talk about other closures as well. So let me tell you the supplies you'll be needing for this. You, of course, will need a file folder. I use heavy-duty ones. That's what I'm using in this project. And you'll need a tab on one of the two sides. It really doesn't matter which, but the middle tab won't work quite as well. And so there you go. One file folder. You're going to need 2 envelopes. And these are the I was going to remember, they're A6 envelopes. So they're if you make cards, this is the size of envelope you're going to need. These measure 5 3/4 by 4.5. Now, if you do not have this size envelope, it's okay. You can use any size envelope that is no wider than 4.5 inches and no longer than 8 inches. And I will show you how to use other envelopes to make this project with, but these are by far the easiest ones to use in this project. I have chosen off-white, but if all you have is white, you can ink the edges and they'll be fine as well. And then you will need some sort of a string. You can just use common regular string. I use hemp cord, and I got this hemp cord at Dollar General. Very inexpensive, and it has it's got different colors on it. And really, in the jewelry department of your crafting store is probably where you'll find the hemp cord. You'll need a craft knife and a surface to cut with the craft knife. You'll need a surface to cut into. You can use a piece of glass from like an old picture, and like a picture frame you get at the dollar store. You can use a glass to cut on. Just be careful not to cut yourself on the edge of the glass because sometimes it's a little sharp. And you'll need a ruler, and preferably a metal one. I think they're safer, but whatever ruler you have, you'll need that. Now, if you have die cuts or if you have hole punches that are squares, you won't need this. But I just didn't know. I didn't think everybody had that, so I wanted to choose something that was easier. And then you'll need 5 pieces of cardstock, approximately. So I use, I got a coordinating color, 2 pieces of that, coordinating like a brown, but there's so many colors in this set that you can choose any of these and it would be really lovely. So I got 2 pieces that are coordinating, and then I got 3 pieces that are more vanilla to kind of like match my vanilla file folder. So I got 3 pieces like that. You may want all pieces to be the coordinating color. And as we go through, you'll see, what the difference is. But at least 5 pieces of that. And 4 little brads. Now these are teeny tiny brads, a little bit bigger brads probably would be easier to work with. But 4 brads, a small hole punch, or you can do an awl. And an awl is really all you need. Yes, I know. What a joke, right? So I use this for when I can't reach with the hole punch. I use this, and it really does come in handy for that. But any kind of a sharp type of punch would be good. Your regular size hole punch is going to be too large for the brads, so you'll need something smaller to put the brads in. And a circle punch. I have a 3/4 of an inch, but you can use a 1/2 inch, and you could probably use 1 inch as well, but 1/2 inch might look better. And that there, and a piece of acetate. This is optional. I put this in the window on the front cover, but it is an optional supply. And as far as tools go, you'll need some way to do a score. So I like using a scoreboard and a stylus. But if you don't have a scoreboard, you can also just use a ruler and a stylus, and then go ahead and score your paper that way. You can do it. Some people have a score in their cutter, in their paper trimmer. And then if you want to distress, I've used vintage photos, and my new favorite now is gathered twigs. Love this. It's just like you can see a little bit darker than the vintage photo. And so these are the ones that I have used, but you don't, of course, have to do that. And of course, you're going to want to use your paper pad. And I am making everything here out of the Stamperia Forest. Now, if you do not have this, or you don't want to do this theme, you of course can do any theme. It's just that I am specifically making instructions for how to use this, but you can use and incorporate your own pad, whatever you would like to do. So that is the basic supplies. Of course, you need your scissors and your glue. I'm using glitter glue. You can use whatever is your favorite. And that's it. So let's get started. All right, we're going to prepare our file folder. And the first thing that you may want to check is if yours is like mine. At the end of it, it comes out a little bit like this, and to me this is annoying and I don't like it. So I always shave these off first before I start my measuring, just to get rid of that. And so if that bothers you, that's something you may want to do. Then we're going to measure 8 1/4 from right across this way, and we want to include the tab. So I've already done one here. This will be easier to show. So I measured 8 1/4 right here, and I cut this section off, is what I did. And save that section that you cut off because you're going to be using that. And you'll use it in the future too because it will make really good tags. So once we've cut that off, I rounded these corners. You may want to round these corners, I don't know. But I kind of like it to match the tab. And now we're going to score it. And so you're going to lay down your folder. And I know I've already scored this, but this is the way it'll lay down. The natural fold will be right here up against there, and the tab will be on your right. We're going to go in and we're going to score at 5 inches, and then we're going to move over 1/4 of an inch and put down a second score. All right, now we need to make a spine. So my folder came out with these folds. It's already started. I don't know if you can pick that up, but these are just score lines that have kind of started. And I chose the outermost one. And that ended up being like 3/4 of an inch from the original fold line. So if you don't have the fold line there already, just go ahead and do 3/4 of an inch spine. So you'll be going to the left of the other little small spine that you just made, and we're going to be going left of the natural fold line 3/4 of an inch, and that will be there. And now once we fold that new score line on that spine, we'll flip it around, and we'll want to measure 5 inches from there over and put in a score line. So the goal here then is to have our 3/4 of an inch spine, 5 inches from those score lines, and a small 1/4 of an inch spine on the left side here, or the side that has the fattest piece of folder over there, because this one will be kind of thin. So there is the folder. Now at this point you can ink around it if that's what you're doing. Now would be the time to do that. There we go. We're going to be working on this pocket right here. And I'm going to be using a cardstock. I'm going to use a colored brown cardstock that I've chosen to kind of coordinate with this kit. And so the first thing we'll want to do is we'll want to cut a piece that is 5 1/4 across and 7 1/4 lengthwise. So 5 1/4 by 7 1/4. Now we'll want to score around these 3 sides and leave the shorter top one unscored. So I will just do that quickly here. Just do a 1/2 inch on all of these 3 sides here. Okay. So then we need to miter the corners down here. And I usually come in just a little past the score line to the point and out again. A little past that score line to the point and out again. Okay. Or however you like to miter your quarters. So we'll just fold this in like so. Now remember, when you go to glue this in, the bottom needs to cover the 2 sides. It needs to be the last one folded down so that your ephemera won't get caught on that bottom part of it. Now you need to cut a piece out of the bark sheet. All right, here's the bark sheet in your pad. I've already cut a piece out. But the thing that you want to remember is not to cut the fox. You need to avoid the fox and cut out your piece of bark. So I cut mine over here. I don't know about cutting it across this way because the bark, I guess the bark would be okay if it were laying this way, but I kind of like it going up and down. So, you know, choose an up down place. You could cut above the fox too. So anywhere along here you can cut out your piece. Now you might want to measure this for yourself, but I believe that my piece ended up being 6.5. 4 by 6.5 is what my piece is. And I have that much of a border. You might want a bigger border, a smaller border, I'm not sure. So we'll just glue that on there. Now the next thing we're going to work on is the window. This little window part here that goes inside that piece. And you'll want to take a piece, a scrap piece out of your file folder, because you need a heavy duty scrap piece. So a piece out of your file folder is great. And cut a 2¼ inch square. And I'll just write that down here, 2¼ inch square. Okay, cut that out. And now we're going to take that piece and we're going to glue it on the back of this pocket. And it doesn't have to be a permanent glue, so I mean just to secure it or anchor it. I mean, we just want to anchor it is all we want to do. And we're going to put it in the middle and, you know, about a 1/2 inch from the bottom or wherever you want. I mean, you may want your window to be up here. I don't know. Wherever you want your window to be. Just glue it in. You may want it on the side, you know. It doesn't have to be in the middle. It can be off on the side. I mean, wherever you want that window to appear. Then make sure you have a, you know, you're not cutting on your table. You want something to cut, use your craft knife with. And we're going to lay the ruler on the outside of that square. And we're going to lay it just outside. Okay, maybe I will try to adjust this camera so that you can see that better. There we go. So you'll want to do it just on the outside and, you know, just leave a little tiny distance there. And get your craft knife and you're going to cut right along that file folder. May take a few passes because you're going through the cardstock and the deco paper. So you're using this as your guide as to when to start and stop. And not only that, but the thickness of this file folder up against the ruler does provide sort of like a groove or a, you know, just to help keep that blade straight. And I find this much better than drawing and then trying to cut along the line. Plus it alleviates measuring if you're an eye and up kind of person, which I am. But you can always measure it, of course. And one more pass. So you can see that it didn't matter that we glued that file folder there because it's going to get cut out. Now sometimes the edges need a little encouragement. Sorry about that, I had a little cough I had to take care of. And so if you have to do that, sometimes I just use a little bit of the scissors to kind of release it. Sometimes I get closer sometimes more than other times. But anyway, so there is your a little window perfectly cut out, and it's so easy. I really like doing it that way. And now we're going to put some acetate here on the back of the window. And of course, if you don't have acetates, it's okay. I just kind of like the look of it. So I'm roughly going to cut a piece that's larger than my window. Doesn't have to be a perfect piece because no one's going to see it in the back. I'm going to glue around the perimeter of this acetate like so. Okay, and I'm also going to glue around the perimeter of my box or my square, my window opening here. Oops, I'm sorry. Sorry, I was out of camera a little bit there. Probably going to have to raise this up. All right, and just stick it in there. Whoops. Yeah, make a mess out of it, Jane. All right. Yeah, this fortunately does dry clear, so yeah, but you won't do what I did there. You know, I know you're much more careful than I am. All right. Must be that cough. Allergies. Okie doke. Now, I usually take this is a dry baby wipe, and I make sure that this side is free of lint or fingerprints or that type of stuff. Let me raise you back up. All right, that's better. For the image that goes inside here, you have a couple choices or a couple pages here. There's one page that has these 3x3 images around this larger one with the squirrel, and any of these would work out nicely. You also have a page of tags, and that's where I got my squirrel for the original prototype. And then today I'm going to use the nest. I kind of like that idea. It's kind of tree-ish for me, being that this is bark that we have on the outside. I guess it doesn't really matter though, because all of these would look very stunning in here. You know, you can do a botanical one. They're all really cool. So I cut this out. I kind of cut the top out because we didn't really need it. And so that is going to fit in just like this. Now you can make a tag that goes in and out and glue one of these images to be on the tag so that it slips up and down. But I am going to put this in here permanently, just because I don't have to worry about measuring it or anything. I can see where this might be. Might need a little bit taken off the bottom here. All right. So I'm simply going to glue all the way around the window, like so. And then I'm going to glue around the perimeter of the image. Got to glue on the front side. We're so used to gluing on the back. And so I'm going to glue around this perimeter too. I especially want the top to be glued down so that something won't catch on it when it goes in and out. And we'll just place that in here like so. Okay, right around like that. Okay, there we go. Guess I glued too much there, didn't I? Guess I didn't have to glue around the window after all. There. So there is our little image inside there. And if you want to ink, you can ink around the perimeter, yeah, you probably should have, probably should have inked around the window before I put the acetate in. But that, it's up to you if you want to ink or not ink. It's just fine without it too. So there's the window. The window has been made. Now for the background of our file folder, and I'm referring to this background right here that goes on the file folder itself. We have this, and then we have this back here. Now when you cut, it's so large here. When you cut from this page, we want to be careful to save this area right here. Okay, we don't want to cut this area off or, cut it up, because we want to save probably about this much for another page in our folio. So I would recommend then cutting from this side, of course. So opposite side of that, just cut an area off that you would like. You may want to measure your own piece, but my piece came out at 4 5/8 by 8 inches. So 4 5/8. Yep, 4 5/8 by 8 inches that way. But of course, you may want to measure your own to the dimensions that you like. So I'm going to do that. Now, after you cut this out, don't glue it in. Don't glue any of this in. Just have it to the ready. And next time, we're going to work on the waterfall. This waterfall here. Really fun little addition inside. There we go. We're going to do that the next time we get together. And this pocket here to put tags in. So that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you again soon. Bye.